What's up, survivors? Welcome back. All right, guys. So we are going to be starting a new game, relatively new game. Stranded Alien Dawn. I'm going to be doing this a little bit more casually on the side. We're going to attempt to actually play the game. I have about 10 hours into this game. It's new in launch, but it's not new. It's been out for about 7-8 months. That's when it came out in early access. And then it recently launched into its 1.0 release version about 2 or 3 months ago. Don't quote me on that. It might have actually been like a month ago. I think it might have been a month ago. Not sure. Something like that. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so it is a colony strategies survival building game, basically, is what it is. There aren't very many games like this. I mean, there are lots of games like this, but there aren't very many games like this one. Though, like 5 games come to mind in the last 20 years of me playing video games and seriously playing it, not like when I was a little kid. I don't count those years. Showing my age now. But so with this game, the goal is to one of 3 scenarios. So I'm gonna talk about it as we're going through this real quick. So you have 3 separate scenarios. You have crash landing, trade outposts, and military outposts. Which military outposts, if I'm correct, is new to the 1.0 launch version. Hence it says new, but it's like literally that new. Sorry about that. Had hiccups. Whew. But we're gonna be doing crash landing. There are 2 types of regions. There's the desert, and then there's the mountain and meadow region. So you have your mountain meadow region, and you have your desert oasis region. We're going to be doing the mountain and meadows just because that's what we're going to start with. As for the moon, I don't know if there's any. I think with the moons, the only real difference is the type of region of the planet or the moon you land on. I don't know. I think there's something involved with that other than the fact that the planet in the background looks different. I don't know. There's got to be something else, but I don't know. If somebody ever actually knows what is affected, what affects the seed based off of the moon you pick, let me know, because I'm not sure what that means. I would love to if there was like harder difficulties or less resources of certain things, if that's what the moons are, but we're just going to go with random and see what happens. Okay, second, if you're familiar with my type of gameplay, even if I'm new to a game, I don't play on normals and easy modes. I don't do that. I don't even like playing on hard modes. Okay, it's because sometimes the game's still too easy. I like a challenge. I like the fear of failing and having to completely start over, or at least going back to the last save point and maybe doing it differently. Which will probably happen in this series. But we're going to be going very hard. And the reason why is because I don't want the weapon. I don't want the laser pistol. If we find something, then we find it. I don't want it. So we're going to go into very hard mode. And that might bite me in the ass. Second, seed is .secret. Okay, so don't take that seed as gospel just yet. Okay, because there's a chance after we land, I might actually be clipping in a different seed as part of the continuation of the series, because if I land and I feel like that the seed that we're on isn't going to be worth it, I'm not going to use it. I will reset, come back in, crash land, take a look around real quick. If it looks, and the reason why I do this is because I'm very OCD and I'm also extremely ADHD. So I have like a preference of types of things that I like. I shouldn't say not like resource, but like scenery. Like if I'm stuck in the middle of a mountain on a hill, I'm not going to want to play it because I don't care how hard it is. I just won't do it. My brain won't be able to wrap the concept around it, and I'll just wipe it and start over. So we're not going to do .secret. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Second, I'm going to be doing Lost Cause and Big Family. And the reason why I'm doing Lost Cause and Big Family is because the number 10 seems better than the number 8 to me. 8 is the default cap unless you do the game rule Big Family, then it's 10. And Lost Cause because I am resetting all survivors' skills to 0. They still have their traits and their facts, but their skills will be 0. I'm not going to use random survivor because yes, you don't get to choose who you land with, which in some scenarios would be great, but I would prefer that if they didn't give us the railgun sniper rifles and instead they gave us the laser pistol. I would accept the random survivor rule if it was a laser pistol, but the sniper rifle just seems way overpowered. Especially when I've tested this a couple of times, and about 9 out of 10 tries that I did it, I always had 2 to 4 people with a sniper rifle. That's just overpowered. No thank you, I'm good. So we're just gonna not use that. Okay, so I'm gonna back out, and then we're gonna go to next, and then this is where we get to choose our survivors that we get to do this playthrough with. So I already have one for sure, and it's Quinn. I like him because, well, he can do exploratory missions faster, and he likes to do them, so it makes him happy. And his intelligence goes up quick, so as he does observation and research, he gets faster and better at it. So we're going to use him for that. We're also going to use him for probably crafting, and I don't know, probably just crafting. We'll have to see. Maybe a few other things, but mainly just crafting. I might use him to help out with some construction on the side. He is indifferent to combat, so he does not like combat. He does not like getting in combat situations, and he actually gets a bad mood from being forced to have to do combat. But he will gain experience, but at half the normal rate. That's what indifference does. Where interested means they earn double the normal XP. Okay, so second person I'm going to choose, and this is the one that always I have a hard time doing. So sometimes I like to choose her. So she's the runaway housewife, and she has 50% increased manipulation when working with her hands. So anytime she has to do a task, whether it's harvesting, mining, construction, cooking, crafting, farming, healing, it doesn't matter. She does it 50% faster than others. Not 2 times faster, not 4 times faster, 50% faster. It's very specific because it's their manipulation effect. And I was debating between using her or Vivian, who she has the Avid Tailor perk or trait, which allows her to craft things made from fabrics and leathers 4 times faster. But she can't heal. That's the thing. She's incapable of doing any healing tasks in the game. So, but she's interested in cooking and crafting. So she's like the perfect like mother, basically, minus the fact that she does like she loves doing crafts, she loves to cook, she's really good at it, she's fast at it, but don't ask her to heal. So, and I want somebody who is designated for healing, so I'm going to not use her because of that. We're going to use the housewife. Now eventually I might use her for like a different playthrough, we'll see. So next, oh, and the runaway housewife, she's indifferent to combat as well, so she doesn't like being in combat situations. Another big bad thing. Okay, so what we're going to do next is I want to choose, so I chose my science officer and basically the lady that will help out with any healing activities, any cooking, crafting, and obviously she will help out with moving resources and occasionally construction, but if I have to force her into combat, she's not going to be happy. The other person I was debating from doing is one of 3, and it's the combat character. So you have this combat character who, she has sniper eye, can shoot twice as fast. She's interested in combat, so she enjoys combat situations. She's a vegetarian though, and the other bonus is she gets a 50% increase to heat and cold. Basically heat and cold situations. So yeah, that happens. So you have to worry about the fact that, well, that's a good thing. So trying to think what I was getting at with this one. So she basically has an increased resistance to heat and cold, so she doesn't get nearly as overheated as easily or cold as easily, so she can survive harsher winters and harsher summers, or the desert. If like, I think she came out with recently, she might be new, I'm not sure, but that's her. So I was debating between using her, Nova, who is incapable of doing intelligence stuff, which would be fine because we would have Quinn for that. But she's not interested in combat, but she is a combat character per se. But the reason why I would choose her is because she can't get meltdowns or all that stuff. Like, so basically she can't be overwhelmed. She will, doesn't matter how her mood is, she'll never have a meltdown and go crazy and wander off. And that's her. The other person I was thinking of was Connor, I think it is. He's a cyborg bodyguard type character. He's also interested in combat, so he likes combat situations. He's interested in it, so he, you know, that's good. But he also has the sniper eye perk. The downside is he intimidates people very easily. He has the intimidation thing, so occasionally will intimidate others, making them feel uneasy. So from the three of them, I mean, and then there's Ken as well. Ken's also a good combat character. And I was debating about using him as well too. He's good for farming for scrap. He's good for combat. He's good for crafting because he's interested in both combat and crafting. And he gets twice as much scrap from scavenging and exploratory operations. And he gains happiness anytime he's killing or observing death. So yeah, I guess we could do that. That is an option. In my book, he's actually probably, out of the 4 combat characters, those are the 4 that I actually see as actual combat characters, because Jack is whatever, Jack. Yeah, I know he's a disgruntled general, but he doesn't have any traits or any perks. He has no skills. He just occasionally increases the combat skill of others. Okay, cool. Have fun with that over there, buddy. So I could choose Ken, but what I was thinking is I would choose between Sonya and Connor, Sora and Connor, because I like that idea of being able to shoot twice as fast, especially when I have characters that don't like combat. I would need somebody that's able to shoot faster to make up for not having characters that like combat. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to base off who I choose off of who my last person is. So the next thing is I like to try to keep it balanced, 2 males and 2 females. So if I choose a male for one of the other 2 slots, I will choose her. If I choose a female, I will choose him. So that brings me to the next thing. We have our character that is going to be doing healing tasks, majority of the healing tasks, as well as majority of the cooking and crafting. When she's not taking care of moving resources and other stuff like that. Okay, so, and then we have our intelligence officer who will be helping with crafting. So we really don't need another person that's going to be doing crafting. So what we do need is a character that is possibly able to do farming. So I think there's only 2 or 3 characters that are farming characters, and I know she's one of them. She can seed and harvest plants twice as fast, and she has manipulation up, but she's not, what's the word? She's not, like, interested in it. She is, but she isn't. Like, her background is she's interested in farming, but her buffs don't show her as interested in farming. And another thing I was thinking of is using her and her mom, because her mom is also interested in cooking and crafting. So I could use her, but the reason why I'm not using her is because she's slowpoke perk. But she also is really good at calming people down and cheering them up. So I was like, well, maybe I could use the mother-daughter combo together and not use her. Because then the mother could be the one that sits around the base taking care of stuff, but I wouldn't have her help with transporting because she's so slow that it would just take her so long to get anything done. So having her around the base would just be meh. So doing the mother-daughter combo, not an idea, but the mother or the daughter's not a bad choice for a farmer. I think the other farmer was it was a guy. him. This was the other one. He never fails a taming attempt. I believe he was a zookeeper who became a freedom fighter or something like that, a resistance fighter. Yeah, that's what his background was. He's interested in combat and farming, but he doesn't like construction or intelligence stuff. He can occasionally improve the farming skills of others. He gets hungry faster, so he eats more than most people would. But he never fails a taming attempt, so he would be really good for maintaining our farm, basically. So our crops as well as our tames. Since he's interested in farming, he'd be able to level up really quickly. So if I choose him, then I would choose her. If I choose her, then I choose him. And that's kind of where I'm stuck at the moment. In some ways, he's better. Nah, he's not better. I mean, he levels up faster on his skills, but he's not better per se. I don't know. Having the 2 times seed and harvesting skill, as well as a 25% movement speed buff, as well as manipulation effect, just seems more beneficial to me than never failing a taming attempt. I mean, how often am I going to be taming? I don't know. So yeah, we're just going to go with her as our farmer and him as our combat character, as he'll help with scavenging and stuff too. Okay, so that's our lineup right there, guys. I'm sorry that took a while. I was trying to decide. Like I said, I had pretty much played about 10 hours of the game, and I kind of went over this a little bit. Now, this is something I could have done in the background, but I wanted to show you guys the process of how I decided my lineup and how I'm going to start. So she's not indifferent to combat, so that means she doesn't mind doing it. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to have her as a backup character to help with fighting when we get in combat situations. But we want to try to keep these two out of combat as much as possible, because if they get into a combat situation, they will get a bad mood from it. So yeah, that'll happen. Now, one of the other people that I like to choose sometimes is, I shouldn't say sometimes, that I've chosen in one of my other scenarios was Simon. I like him because he has the increased movement speed as well. And sometimes when I did my 2 playthroughs, I shouldn't say I did 2 playthroughs. I barely even made it through the first winter. And that's when I was playing on like normal mode, basically, the default mode. I got bored quickly because it just wasn't a challenge. I like the fact that I could put him on the front lines as a combat character, and he could take one hell of a beating, like because of the 100 health boost, the faster healing effect, and the fact that it took about 6 or 7 bleeds in order for him to start losing health. So he's a very hard character to kill. He's very hard to kill. So in a way, I kind of would like to have him as my combat character, with occasional crafting on the side. But honestly, I like the twice as fast shooting. So yeah. But anyways, there's a chance we could always find some of the people that I like to. Excuse me. Some of the people that I like to. Okay, so that's it right there, guys. We're just going to jump right in. Now I'm going to skip the landing scene and the startup here real quick, because like I said, if the seed ends up being bad, I don't want to waste my time actually starting on it. And then we're just going to jump right into the seed that I actually do like, because I don't know. We'll see. So I will bring you guys back. Oops, excuse me. I got the hiccups. I'll bring you guys back after I'm done with my hiccups and we're on the planet. Okay? See you guys in a second.